those of you that know me or have watched some of my videos over time may know that I've got a bit of a sensitive soul hidden inside my banter box. And so when I spot a game that's all about emotions and things like that, I thought, oh, that sounds good. And Promesa, which came to consoles 2 weeks ago, describes itself as a contemplative experience where you'll wander through the dreams, memories and fantasies, emerging from a dialogue between a grandfather and his grandchild. So far, quid's in for me. However, I didn't really get very much out of the experience. I could see what they were trying to do, the team of 4 that created this game, but it just didn't work for me personally. However, judging by different reviews, I clearly seem to be in the minority, so I want to still explain the game and see, hopefully it might appeal to other people who can get more out of it than what I personally did. Promesa's a walking simulator, but it's really a snail walking simulator because you walk painfully slow through a variety of different scenes. The scenes occur in a certain order, but you only get a selection of them throughout each playthrough, and you can't save during your playthrough. You need to go from beginning to end each time, and it takes between about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on which scenes you get and whether you can reach the end of them. During these scenes, you will be constantly walking forward very, very slowly, observing the world around you. There isn't like storytelling going on in terms of picking up stuff or reading anything. It's just simply observing what is there very slowly as it passes by in like a atmospheric meditative state. But it's in a weird mix of real low poly, like PS1 poly graphics, but built in a way to make it look modern day and beautiful. And so it's this mix of reality and like high fantasy polygon dreams and like glitchy memory type stuff, all kind of fused together. And I really quite enjoyed the art style. But what it did mean was that it gave way to the fact that you couldn't have any detail in there, so you can't story tell from that perspective. Instead, the storytelling is a couple of paragraphs that take place between certain scenes, and I would never have known that it was between a grandfather and a grandchild if I hadn't have read the PR blurb. And that's the problem, is that it seems very, very light on everything. So maybe I was just not in the right frame of mind when I played it, but I tried it a couple of times to get the different scenes as I walked through the game. But it looked like some pretty environments that you just slowly walked through. There's a nice kind of element of what I'm going to call a Fisherman's Tale style of Russian doll syndrome, where you're walking through a bigger version and you can see a smaller version of your environment somewhere else, and then kind of you're inside that for a little bit, and then vice versa, you kind of flip back out to the big one again. But I'm sure that's trying to tell you about like the state of dreams and all of that kind of stuff. And there's some good kind of ideas in here, but not enough to stretch across all of these environments, just slowly walking forward, doing the same thing again, over and over and over and over. And I didn't really have the story click, unfortunately. Outside of that, I didn't run into any particular bugs or anything like that. The sound design is probably one of the best parts of Promesa because it uses some lovely instruments. Anything that pulls out a zither gets a thumbs up from me, quite frankly. Love that instrument. But and there's also some really good stuff around like chewed up scary TV in one specific scene that you go through, which I thought was quite cool. But yeah, outside of it looking pretty, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to see, and it's one of those ones where you have to make up what you will of it. But with those types of games, you need to drop breadcrumbs so that you can then harness your own opinions, or you give something that kind of frames what you want people to make up their own opinions in the arena of. And that's what I don't think Promesa does, because you shouldn't have to read PR blurb and material to kind of get the context of what the game is about. That being said, I am in the minority. It's got tons of very positive reviews on Steam, 89% as at the time of writing. I don't really see anyone saying too much badly about this game. Maybe I was just closed-minded and closed-hearted at the time, I don't know. But yeah, this one sadly didn't scratch any kind of itch for me whatsoever, but others may find it as a nice contemplative experience, some high-end art that maybe was just a little bit too fandangled for me. Written reviews over on highplanegames.com. Until then, you guys take care. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a completely independent media outlet supported by people like you. The goal is to create the best possible content that cultivates a richer indie scene for games as well as music and entertainment. To find out more and to get involved, visit patreon.com/higherplane-network. Your support makes all the difference, and in return you'll gain access to bonus content and downloads. Thank you for watching.